Dear listeners, today we embark on an enlightening journey that will take us deep into the heart of Indian philosophy and culture. We are talking about Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan's timeless work, The Hindu View of Life. This book beautifully and logically presents the essence of Hindu Dharma, its principles, and its unique perspective on life. Radhakrishnan, a great philosopher and educationist, as well as the former President of India, the Hindu view of life is not merely as a collection of rituals or superstitions, but as a vibrant and evolving way of life, with a remarkable ability to assimilate new ideas and experiences over time. At the very beginning of the book, Radhakrishnan emphasizes that Hindu Dharma does not have a single founder or a fixed dogma. It is a vast confluence of various spiritual experiences, philosophical thoughts, and cultural traditions. It holds a treasure trove of wisdom from saints, sages, and thinkers who contributed in their own ways to the search for truth at different times. This is why we see such diversity in Hindu Dharma, including the worship of various deities, different philosophical schools, and diverse ways of living life. Radhakrishnan considers this diversity not a weakness but the strength of Hindu Dharma. It is this inclusive approach that has kept it alive for centuries and provides it with the ability to adapt to new ideas and circumstances. Hindu Dharma does not consider any single book or person as the ultimate source of truth, but rather grants every individual the freedom to know and understand truth based on their own experience and intellect. There are 4 chapters in this book, so we will start with Chapter 1. The religious consciousness of man lays the foundational groundwork for understanding the Hindu perspective on life by exploring the very nature and origin of religious consciousness in humanity. Radhakrishnan doesn't approach religion as a set of dogmas or external rituals but delves into its deeper psychological and philosophical roots, arguing that it is an intrinsic aspect of human experience, arising from a fundamental need to understand and connect with something beyond the empirical world. Radhakrishnan begins by asserting that the religious impulse is not merely an intellectual assent to certain propositions or a conformity to social customs. Instead, it stems from a profound awareness of the limitations of human existence and a yearning for something more complete and satisfying. He suggests that the human being, unlike other creatures, possesses a self-consciousness that makes them aware of their finitude, their vulnerability, and the transient nature of earthly life. This awareness inevitably leads to questions about the meaning and purpose of existence, the nature of reality, and the possibility of transcending the limitations of the physical world. He argues that the religious consciousness arises from a deep-seated dissatisfaction with the purely materialistic or sensory explanations of life. Humans experience a sense of incompleteness, a feeling that the visible world does not exhaust the totality of reality. This inherent yearning pushes them to seek a deeper understanding, a more comprehensive truth that can provide meaning and solace in the face of life's uncertainties and eventual demise. Radhakrishnan emphasizes that this is not necessarily a morbid preoccupation with death but rather a positive aspiration towards a fuller and more enduring reality. Furthermore, Radhakrishnan posits that the religious consciousness is closely linked to the human capacity for wonder and awe. The vastness and complexity of the universe, the intricate workings of nature, and the sheer mystery of existence evoke a sense of something beyond human comprehension. This sense of the numinous, as some philosophers have termed it, inspires reverence and a feeling of being connected to a larger cosmic order. Religion, in this sense, is a response to this profound sense of wonder, an attempt to make sense of the inexplicable and to find one's place within the grand scheme of things. The chapter also explores the role of experience in shaping religious consciousness. Radhakrishnan argues that while intellectual understanding and philosophical reasoning can contribute to religious thought, the core of religious conviction lies in personal experience. He suggests that individuals throughout history have had profound encounters with a reality that transcends the ordinary sensory world. These experiences, often described as mystical or spiritual, provide a direct and immediate apprehension of a deeper truth, a sense of unity with something greater than oneself. These experiences, though varied in their specific manifestations, share common features such as a feeling of ineffability, a noetic quality, a sense of gaining genuine knowledge, transiency, and passivity, a feeling of being acted upon. Radhakrishnan highlights that these experiential foundations of religion are not irrational or purely emotional. While they may involve feelings of awe, love, and reverence, they also carry a cognitive dimension, a sense of gaining insight into the fundamental nature of reality. He emphasizes that true religious understanding involves an integration of intellect, emotion, and will, leading to a transformation of the individual's consciousness and way of life. In this context, Radhakrishnan distinguishes between genuine religious experience and mere adherence to dogma or ritual. He critiques superficial religiosity that focuses on external observances without a corresponding inner transformation. True religion, according to him, involves a deep personal encounter with the divine or the ultimate reality, leading to ethical conduct, inner peace, and a sense of interconnectedness with all beings. The chapter also touches upon the universality of the religious impulse while acknowledging the diversity of its expressions. Radhakrishnan suggests that while the specific forms and doctrines of different religions may vary significantly due to historical, cultural, and geographical factors, the underlying human need and capacity for religious experience are universal. He sees different religions as different pathways leading towards the same ultimate truth, each reflecting the unique cultural and spiritual genius of the people who developed them. Radhakrishnan emphasizes that the Hindu view of life, which he will elaborate upon in subsequent chapters, is rooted in this understanding of the fundamental nature of religious consciousness. It is a tradition that has historically valued personal experience and the pursuit of direct knowledge of the ultimate reality. The diversity within Hinduism, with its various schools of philosophy and paths to spiritual realization, reflects this emphasis on individual exploration and the acceptance of multiple perspectives on the divine. Furthermore, Radhakrishnan subtly introduces the idea that the Hindu tradition, while acknowledging the validity of other religious paths, offers a particularly comprehensive and profound understanding of the religious consciousness. He hints at the depth and breadth of Hindu philosophical inquiry, its exploration of the nature of the self, the universe, and the ultimate reality, and its emphasis on practical methods for achieving spiritual liberation. In conclusion, Chapter 1 of The Hindu View of Life serves as a crucial introduction to Radhakrishnan's perspective on religion. He establishes that religious consciousness is not an artificial construct, but an inherent aspect of human nature, arising from our awareness of life's limitations, our sense of wonder, and the possibility of profound personal experiences. He emphasizes the importance of genuine inner transformation over mere external adherence to rituals and highlights the universality of the religious impulse despite the diversity of its expressions. This foundational understanding sets the stage for his exploration of the specific tenets and principles of the Hindu view of life in the subsequent chapters, portraying it as a rich and profound tradition rooted in this fundamental human yearning for meaning and transcendence. Now we will start Chapter 2, The Ultimate Reality, Drive. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan delves into the core metaphysical concept of Hinduism, Brahman. This chapter forms the philosophical backbone of the book, elucidating the Hindu understanding of the fundamental nature of existence, the source of all that is, and the ultimate goal of human life. Radhakrishnan meticulously unpacks the multifaceted concept of Brahman, highlighting its unique characteristics and differentiating it from similar notions in other philosophical and religious traditions. Radhakrishnan begins by emphasizing that Brahman is not merely a theological concept or a personal god in the conventional sense. Instead, It represents the ultimate, impersonal, and all-pervading reality that underlies and transcends the entire universe. It is the ground of being, the source from which everything emanates, and the ultimate destination to which everything returns. Brahman is described as the absolute, the infinite, the eternal, and the unchangeable reality that is beyond the limitations of human thought and language. One of the key aspects Radhakrishnan highlights is the ineffability of Brahman. He argues that Brahman cannot be fully grasped or adequately described by human intellect or linguistic categories. Our concepts and words, being finite and derived from our experience of the phenomenal world, are inherently inadequate to capture the nature of the infinite and absolute. This does not mean that Brahman is unknowable, but rather that it can only be truly realized through direct intuitive experience, a state of consciousness that transcends the limitations of the rational mind. Radhakrishnan explains that the Upanishads, the philosophical core of the Vedas, often describe Brahman through negative theology, by stating what it is not rather than what it is. Terms like neti, not this, are used to negate all finite descriptions and attributes, guiding the seeker towards an understanding that transcends all limitations. However, this negative description does not imply a void or nothingness. On the contrary, Brahman is the very fullness of being, the source of all existence, consciousness, and bliss, Sat Chit Ananda. The chapter further explores the relationship between Brahman and the phenomenal world, the world of multiplicity and change that we perceive through our senses. Radhakrishnan discusses the concept of Maya, often translated as illusion or cosmic ignorance. Maya is not to be understood as a complete unreality of the world, but rather as a veil that obscures the true nature of Brahman. It is the power that makes the one appear as many, the unchanging appear as changing. The world of multiplicity, with its names and forms, is considered to be a manifestation or appearance of Brahman, ultimately dependent on and sustained by it. Radhakrishnan clarifies that Maya is not an independent entity separate from Brahman but is inherent in its very nature, its power of self-expression. It is through Maya that Brahman projects the universe and experiences itself in diverse forms. Understanding Maya is crucial in Hindu philosophy as it helps to dismantle the illusion of separateness and to realize the underlying unity of all existence in Brahman. The chapter also delves into the different perspectives on the relationship between Brahman and the individual soul, the Atman. Radhakrishnan discusses the Advaita Vedanta philosophy, championed by Shankara, which posits the fundamental identity of Atman and Brahman. According to this school, the individual soul is not ultimately different from the ultimate reality. The apparent separation is due to ignorance, avidya, which is a form of Maya operating at the individual level. The realization of this identity, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, is considered the ultimate liberation, moksha. However, Radhakrishnan also acknowledges other Vedantic schools, such as Vishishtadvaita, qualified non-dualism, and Dvaita, dualism, which offer different interpretations of this relationship. These schools emphasize a distinction between the individual soul and Brahman, while still acknowledging Brahman as the supreme reality. Radhakrishnan highlights the tolerance and inclusivity within Hindu thought, which allows for diverse interpretations of the ultimate reality while maintaining a central focus on Brahman as the ground of being. Furthermore, Radhakrishnan emphasizes the practical implications of understanding Brahman. Recognizing the underlying unity of all existence in Brahman fosters a sense of interconnectedness and compassion towards all beings. If the same ultimate reality pervades everything, then the distinctions and divisions that often lead to conflict and suffering become less significant. Realizing Brahman leads to a transformation of consciousness, resulting in inner peace, liberation from ego, and a profound sense of unity with the cosmos. The chapter also touches upon the Hindu understanding of God or Ishvara. Radhakrishnan explains that Ishvara is Brahman conceived with attributes, Saguna Brahman, for the purpose of worship and devotion. While Brahman in its ultimate nature is beyond all attributes, Nirguna Brahman, the human mind, limited by its conceptual framework, often finds it easier to relate to a personal God. Ishvara is seen as the creative, sustaining, and dissolving power of Brahman, the cosmic ruler and the object of devotion for those on the path of Bhakti Yoga. However, Radhakrishnan clarifies that Ishvara is not a separate entity from Brahman but rather a manifestation of it. In conclusion, Chapter 2 of The Hindu View of Life provides a comprehensive overview of the central concept of Brahman in Hindu philosophy. Radhakrishnan elucidates its nature as the ultimate, impersonal, and all-pervading reality, emphasizing its ineffability and the role of Maya in the manifestation of the phenomenal world. He explores the different perspectives on the relationship between Brahman and the Atman, highlighting the Advaita Vedanta's emphasis on their identity. The chapter underscores the practical implications of realizing Brahman, leading to a sense of unity and compassion, and clarifies the Hindu understanding of God, Ishvara, as a manifestation of Brahman for devotional purposes. This detailed exploration of the ultimate reality forms the essential foundation for understanding the Hindu view of life as presented in the subsequent chapters. Now we will understand Chapter 3 Inches the World and Man, delves into the Hindu understanding of the cosmos, the nature of human existence within it, and the intricate relationship between the individual soul, Atman, and the ultimate reality, Brahman, in the context of this world. Building upon the metaphysical foundation laid in the previous chapter, Radhakrishnan explores the Hindu cosmology, the significance of human life, the concept of karma and reincarnation, and the ultimate aim of human endeavor. Radhakrishnan begins by outlining the Hindu view of the cosmos, emphasizing its cyclical nature. Unlike linear conceptions of time and creation found in some other traditions, Hinduism posits a universe that undergoes endless cycles of creation, srishti, preservation, sthiti, and dissolution, pralay. These cycles are vast, spanning immense periods of time, and are driven by the inherent power, Shakti, of Brahman. The universe is not seen as a one-time creation ex nihilo but as a periodic manifestation of the ultimate reality, unfolding and folding back into Brahman in an eternal rhythm. Within this cyclical cosmos, Radhakrishnan explores the Hindu understanding of the human being. Man is not viewed as an isolated entity separate from the rest of creation but as an integral part of the cosmic process. The individual soul, the Atman, is considered to be essentially divine, a spark or fragment of Brahman that has become embodied in the material world. This inherent divinity of the human being forms a cornerstone of the Hindu view of life, emphasizing the potential for spiritual growth and the ultimate realization of one's true nature. The chapter then delves into the crucial concepts of karma and reincarnation, samsara. Radhakrishnan explains that karma, literally meaning action, is the principle of cause and effect operating on a moral and spiritual plane. Every action, whether physical, mental, or emotional, creates consequences that will inevitably manifest, either in the present life or in future lives. This principle underscores the moral responsibility of the individual for their thoughts and deeds and highlights the interconnectedness of actions and their repercussions. Reincarnation, or the transmigration of the soul, is presented as the mechanism through which the consequences of karma are experienced. The Atman, bound by its accumulated karma, transmigrates from one body to another after death, continuing its journey of learning and spiritual evolution. The nature of each birth is determined by the balance of one's past karma, good actions leading to more favorable births and negative actions leading to less favorable ones. Radhakrishnan emphasizes that samsara is not meant to be an endless and meaningless cycle of suffering but rather a process of spiritual growth and purification, offering opportunities for the soul to learn from its experiences and eventually transcend the cycle of birth and death. Radhakrishnan clarifies that the goal of human life, according to the Hindu view, is liberation, moksha, from the cycle of samsara and the realization of one's true identity as the Atman, which is ultimately one with Brahman. This liberation is not merely an escape from the world but a transformation of consciousness, a realization of the eternal and blissful nature of the self. The chapter further explores the different paths or yogas that Hinduism offers for attaining moksha. Radhakrishnan elaborates on the significance of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha as the four aims of human life, purusharthas. While artha, material prosperity, and kama, sensory pleasures, are acknowledged as natural human aspirations, they are to be pursued within the framework of dharma, righteous conduct and duty, and ultimately directed towards the attainment of moksha. Dharma provides the ethical and social framework for a meaningful life, guiding individuals in fulfilling their responsibilities according to their station and stage of life. Radhakrishnan highlights that the Hindu tradition offers diverse paths to moksha, catering to different temperaments and inclinations. These include Karma Yoga, the path of selfless action, performing one's duties without attachment to The. Results. Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion and love for the divine, cultivating a deep personal relationship with Ishvara. Janana Yoga, the path of knowledge and wisdom, seeking to understand the true nature of reality through philosophical inquiry and self-realization. Raja Yoga, the path of meditation and self-control, aiming to quiet the mind and realize the inner self. Radhakrishnan emphasizes that these paths are not mutually exclusive and can often be integrated in an individual's spiritual practice. The key is to pursue one's chosen path with sincerity and dedication, guided by ethical principles and a genuine aspiration for spiritual liberation. The chapter also addresses the Hindu perspective on the value of the world and human life within it. While acknowledging the transient nature of the phenomenal world, Maya, Hinduism does not necessarily advocate for a complete rejection of life. Instead, it emphasizes living a life of purpose and meaning, fulfilling one's dharma, and striving for spiritual growth within the context of worldly existence. The world is seen as a stage for the soul's evolution, offering opportunities for learning, action, and the working out of karma. Radhakrishnan underscores the importance of self-knowledge in the Hindu view of life. Understanding the true nature of the Atman as divine and interconnected with Brahman is crucial for transcending the limitations of ego and the illusion of separateness. This self-realization leads to a life of greater compassion, understanding, and detachment from the fleeting pleasures and pains of the material world. In conclusion, Chapter 3 of The Hindu View of Life provides a comprehensive understanding of the Hindu perspective on the world and humanity's place within it. Radhakrishnan elucidates the cyclical nature of the cosmos, the inherent divinity of the human soul, the principles of karma and reincarnation as mechanisms for spiritual evolution, and the ultimate goal of human life is liberation, moksha. He highlights the significance of dharma as the guiding principle for righteous living and outlines the various paths, yogas, offered by Hinduism for attaining spiritual realization. The chapter emphasizes that while the world is transient, it serves as a crucial arena for the soul's journey towards self-knowledge and ultimate union with Brahman. Now the final chapter 4, the concluding chapter of Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan's Religion and Life, synthesizes the philosophical and metaphysical principles discussed in the preceding chapters and explores their practical implications for individual and social life. Radhakrishnan bridges the gap between abstract philosophical concepts like Brahman, Atman, Karma, and Moksha, and their concrete manifestation in ethical conduct, social organization, and the pursuit of a meaningful existence. This chapter underscores the holistic nature of the Hindu view of life, where spiritual realization is not seen as separate from worldly engagement but rather as its ultimate fulfillment and guiding principle. Radhakrishnan begins by reiterating that the core of Hindu Dharma lies in the realization of the ultimate reality, Brahman, and the inherent divinity of the individual soul, Atman. This realization, he argues, is not merely an intellectual understanding but a transformative experience that profoundly impacts one's perception of the world and one's conduct within it. True religion, in the Hindu context, is not confined to rituals and dogmas but permeates all aspects of life, shaping one's values, actions, and relationships. The chapter emphasizes the ethical framework derived from the Hindu understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings. Recognizing the presence of the same divine essence, Brahman, in all creation fosters a sense of unity and compassion. This understanding forms the basis for ethical principles such as non-violence, ahimsa, truthfulness, satya, non-stealing, aste, continence, brahmacharya, and non-possessiveness, aparigraha. These ethical precepts are not arbitrary rules but are seen as natural consequences of realizing the underlying oneness of existence. By adhering to these principles, individuals purify their minds and actions, paving the way for spiritual progress. Radhakrishnan delves into the Hindu perspective on social organization, particularly the concept of varna, often translated as caste. He clarifies that the original intent of the varna system was based on the natural aptitudes and vocational inclinations of individuals, aiming for a harmonious and functional society where different groups contributed according to their inherent abilities. He emphasizes that the ideal was one of interdependence and mutual respect, with dharma, duty, being the guiding principle for each varna. However, Radhakrishnan acknowledges the historical distortions and rigidities that crept into the system, leading to social inequalities and injustices. He strongly critiques these later developments, asserting that the fundamental spirit of Hindu Dharma emphasizes equality and the inherent dignity of every individual, regardless of their social standing. He stresses the need to move beyond rigid hierarchical interpretations and to focus on the underlying principles of duty, contribution, and mutual respect. The chapter also explores the significance of the four ashramas, stages of life, in the Hindu tradition: brahmacharya, student life; grihastha, householder life; vanaprastha, hermit life; and sannyasa, renunciation. These stages represent a natural progression of an individual's life, with each stage having its own set of duties and responsibilities. The grihastha ashrama, the stage of the householder, is particularly emphasized as the foundation of society, where individuals fulfill their social and familial obligations, contribute to the community, and pursue artha and kama within the framework of dharma. The later ashramas of vanaprastha and sannyasa provide opportunities for greater spiritual focus and detachment as individuals progress in their spiritual journey. Radhakrishnan highlights the psychological and social wisdom inherent in this structured approach to life, allowing for both worldly engagement and spiritual growth. Radhakrishnan discusses the importance of dharma as the guiding principle for all aspects of life. Dharma encompasses one's duties, responsibilities, and righteous conduct, varying according to one's varna, ashrama, and individual circumstances. Following one's dharma is seen as essential for maintaining social order, personal integrity, and spiritual progress. It is not a rigid set of rules but a flexible framework that encourages individuals to act with wisdom, compassion, and a sense of responsibility. The chapter further explores the role of worship and devotion, bhakti, in the Hindu view of life. Radhakrishnan emphasizes that while the ultimate goal is the realization of the impersonal Brahman, the human mind often finds it easier to connect with a personal God, Ishvara. Bhakti Yoga, The path of devotion provides a means for cultivating a loving relationship with the divine through prayer, rituals, hymns, and selfless service. This devotional aspect of Hinduism caters to the emotional and relational needs of individuals, offering solace, guidance, and a sense of connection to a higher power. Radhakrishnan highlights the inclusivity of Hindu worship, with its diverse pantheon of deities representing different aspects of the divine, allowing individuals to connect with the sacred in ways that resonate with their personal inclinations. Radhakrishnan also addresses the Hindu perspective on suffering and the challenges of life. He explains that suffering is often seen as a consequence of ignorance, avidya, and the attachment to the impermanent aspects of the material world. The path to overcoming suffering lies in gaining true knowledge of the self and realizing one's connection to the eternal and blissful Brahman. The principles of karma and reincarnation provide a framework for understanding the causes of suffering and the potential for liberation through righteous action and spiritual growth. In the concluding remarks of the chapter and the book, Radhakrishnan emphasizes the enduring relevance of the Hindu view of life in the modern world. He argues that its emphasis on spiritual values, ethical conduct, tolerance, and the interconnectedness of all beings offers valuable insights for addressing the challenges of materialism, conflict, and environmental degradation. He highlights the capacity of Hinduism to adapt and assimilate new ideas while retaining its core principles, making it a dynamic and evolving tradition. Radhakrishnan stresses the importance of personal experience and spiritual realization as the true foundation of religious life. He advocates for a Hinduism that is intellectually coherent, ethically sound, and spiritually enriching, moving beyond superficial rituals and dogmatic interpretations. He envisions a future where the wisdom of the Hindu tradition contributes to a more just, peaceful, and spiritually awakened world. In essence, Chapter 4 of The Hindu View of Life demonstrates how the profound philosophical insights of Hinduism translate into a practical and meaningful way of life. It underscores the importance of ethical conduct, social responsibility, the pursuit of Dharma, the power of devotion, and the ultimate aim of spiritual realization as integral aspects of a holistic and fulfilling existence. Radhakrishnan's concluding thoughts leave the reader with a sense of the enduring wisdom and relevance of the Hindu view of life for navigating the complexities of the human experience. Conclusion. This book is an inspiring philosophy of life. The Hindu View of Life is a profound and inspiring book that introduces us to the broad and liberal perspective of Hindu Dharma. It motivates us to reflect deeply on the meaning, purpose, and values of life. Radhakrishnan's thoughts are important not only for the followers of Hindu Dharma but for everyone who wishes to live a meaningful and peaceful life. This book teaches us that the search for truth is a continuous process in which everyone is welcome. It inspires us to understand the importance of karma, accept the cycle of reincarnation, and strive towards moksha. It conveys the message of adopting the values of love, compassion, and tolerance in our lives and building a society where everyone is respected and everyone has the opportunity to grow. So I hope this book will guide you, help you in proper direction. If you like this audio summary, please like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and let us know in the comments which other book summaries you would like to hear. Thank you very much.